It's not a doll. It's a collectible.
Well, what is a Funko? It's a Funko Pop, right?
Yeah, but it's a collectible, I'd say.
Okay, I mean,
Calling it a doll makes me feel like it's like a creepy doll that sits in like the corner of the guest room. Something. Yeah, a collectible. Look at that.
yeah.
Isn't it adorable?
Shout out to my mother-in-law, Nani, hooked me up.
That thing's sweet.
You got any Funko Pops?
No, but my son does. He has a Julio.
A Julio?
Yeah, Julio Rodriguez. And
Yeah,
then
I didn't think it was anybody else. Did you say? What do you think? Julio Jones? Come on, bro.
It could be Iglesias. You never know.
All right, you got me there.
No. And then he's got a Superman one, I think, and I don't know, a couple other ones.
Okay.
You know, little baby Yoda one, maybe something like that. I don't have.
They're big, right? They make a lot of those, and people love them up here, or probably everywhere, but especially up here.
That merch idea. We got to get a Lofa bobblehead, but from the podcast, like he just has headphones on, microphone.
Yeah.
Not from the playing days.
Not from a throwback? Yeah.
Did they ever make a Lofa Tatupu bobblehead?
I think I have one somewhere, and it kind of look a lot like Bruce Lee.
Really? Oh, now we need to see it. We got to dig that out of the garage.
I'll find it. Bruce Loaf.
Okay.
Is what it really looks like. It's but hey, it's an honor.
You know, well, I think Funko is in Seattle, isn't it? We could get a Funko loaf, couldn't we?
Hell yeah.
Producer Katie, let's get on this.
I'm on it.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you in, Lofa?
Yeah. You and my mom are gonna buy them. Cool.
Hit the theme song. It's awesome. Don't you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the All Day Podcast. It's Brett and Lofa. We're talking Seahawks football all day, every day, whenever you guys want it. Check us out on any podcast app, and welcome if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks for being here. On today's episode, there's a trade heard round the world in Seahawk land. Lofa, have you heard of it?
I have heard, partner. Why don't you give us the details?
We will give you the details. It's going to be all Ernest Hemingway all the time on the show today. Ernest goes to camp. Ernest
P. Worrell.
The importance of being earnest today. A lot of that on the show. Also, we'll talk about what it's going to take to beat the Bills. We've got a guy from Believe in Bills stopping by. His name is Sal. Sal. Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna wait till he gets here for the last name. I just don't want to mess it up too badly for him. So our guy
can say Tatupu, but you can't say his last name.
I was hearing Tatupu for years. It's easy. So Believe in Bills. He'll be here to talk to us about that, and then also Michael Dickson, the greatest punter in the NFL right now, will be stopping by as our guest on this very special episode. Thank you to our friends at Bet Online. Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform, number one source for everything football. Get in on their $200,000 mega contest where you pick 5 games against the spread. Use their mobile app, use their web browser. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Bet Online. The game starts here. I'm talking quickly because Lofa, we made a trade again. What do you think about what you saw?
Well, first and foremost, I love Baker, and I'm sad to see him go. Of course, we traded him. We just got him last year, and I feel he played some solid football. But I feel like the move wasn't necessarily made out of we have to bolster. I mean, we do have to get the run game going, but I didn't think Baker was a problem in that. I feel like this move was because you got an opportunity to get a hell of a player in Ernest Jones, right? Okay. We're familiar with him. 12s. This guy's made our life a nightmare when he was in LA.
Yep.
And just it's big news because it comes on the heels of we just traded a week ago before with Jacksonville for Robertson. And then it's so they're making moves. Like they believe this is our year, right? They're and I think because we saw some on the Twitterverse, we had to answer some questions last time, like what is John and what is Mike doing? And well, they're making moves. So
yeah, they are.
I would love to know how you guys feel out there about this. But,
right. Yeah. Totally. No, hit up the comment section. Let us know. Let's fill up the chat. How you feeling about this move out there? I think, Lofa, I mean, you're totally right. Like Mike McDonald talking about it. Basically, the quote, just a really good football player all the way around. So it just seems like a guy that he's a fan of, that they wanted to go out and get. Also, the Titans defensive coordinator, Denard Wilson, was on the Ravens staff with McDonald in 2003. So Ernest is coming from a similar system or similar scheme over to the Hawks. So it shouldn't be too tough of a transition, or this should be pretty smooth, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say seamless, right? Because every coordinator, when they go separate destinations, they make it their own with their own verbiage, terminology, that language. But scheme wise, definitely. And the first thing you said, just an all around great player, right? What have I always said that I've noticed with McDonald, whether it was the Ravens or then here when they was going through personnel? He likes guys that can do everything and have no weakness, right? And so I really think that this is a player that we're going to be excited about, because aggressive, hard hitting, downhill, like mixing it up, getting after it. And then I watched a lot of his film over the last 2 years. If the hands look familiar, he spent a year with Bobby Wagner, who he gave great praise to. Bobby's got some of the best hands in the history of the National Football League. And so if it looks familiar, it should, because that's old 5'4", helping the young guys out like a true veteran leader. But excited about this. And again, I just want to point back, I think it was nothing Baker did. He's a phenomenal player. I think the availability was more of the concern there. I don't think he's practiced much at all. He missed almost the entire offseason. So going forward, this is a move that I think should benefit both sides, because Baker's a great player.
I started watching tape yesterday, man, and I couldn't watch much Rams tape because there's a lot of highlights against the Seahawks. So quickly started just watching the Titans tape. And this guy, 53, he's just all over the place. There's one clip in particular where he just rushes the center. I think they're playing against the Bears. Have you see? Oh, I sent this clip.
I did see that. You sent it to me.
Knocks the guy flat on his ass and then just heads towards the quarterback in lightning quick. I mean, okay, well, you tell me what you saw on that play, but I mean, that was just one, by the way. His tape is full of that stuff.
Incredible speed. He's got the hip pop, the strength, to just run through people. And there he finished using the hands. It's something we've seen Bobby Wagner do several times. So it was awesome. And just the way he plays, like I said, downhill, going on our terms, getting after it and disrupting. He's a disruptor on top of just a high productivity tackler, right? He does it all.
These are words that you've been saying all season long: go downhill, and then using words like Bobby Wagner. You're just getting me more and more excited the more you keep talking. That's the second time you said Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, because you spent time learning from him, right? And and I've seen very clear difference from Ernest's early tape, his first year or two, which involved a Super Bowl championship as a rookie. And then his last 2 or 3 years, 2.5 years, because he's still a young player. And he just plays with that fire that you want to see, that can really elevate, the entire defense as well as the team.
What's it like when a guy gets traded?
In what regard?
I don't know. Just as a teammate?
Dude, it's brutal, man. These are your brothers.
Yeah.
So like, it's tough to watch, some of your guys, go like, we lost Julius Jones, Lawrence Jackson. It's just, especially during season.
That's what that's kind of what I'm actually asking. Like mid-season, it's got to be kind of weird. They're here one day, gone the next. And then Well, there's that, but then there's the new guy coming in also. I'm kind of just interested in what both of those things are like inside the locker room.
Dude, I mean, your meeting room changes, right? Because and this is going to be a starter, right? We didn't bring him here to learn the defense and figure it out, kind of like what you alluded to. It turned out to be a great trade because of not just the value, but also the familiarity with the scheme. Your meeting room changes, man. And like, I don't know how vocal Baker was, but he was a starter. So, he had some leadership aspects in that room and in that defensive room. And so, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, when someone gets traded, things just change, man. It's different. There's a different vibe. And, you just hope that they bring their best to the team. Now, I will say this, though, because that actually brings me to a different point. He was a captain for the Rams. Mm-hmm. And so I was a little confused when they didn't sign him to a long-term deal. It could be the trend of teams not valuing linebackers, kind of like the running back market. But if it's a captain, this is somebody you count on to carry that message from the coaches to the your teammates. So that, and then now to see Tennessee move on, but they got Baker and they got a 4th round. So the value is there, for Tennessee.
How do players usually? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I did that. I got a lot of people jumping into my, comments there or my, inbox and just saying, hey, we gave up Baker and a 4th, starter and a 4th. Yeah. And I have to look into it. I'm going to have to get McNasty on this. But so as we take over the contract, but if he becomes a free agent, I think we get a compensatory. So it's about the same value. It's like, maybe even higher because it's the end of the 3rd round where those compensatories usually come in.
Interesting. Okay.
Don't quote me on it, but yeah, but that was a good question. I think my boy Johnny Langston, Chris Anderson, those all day faithfuls, they hit me up right away. And then everybody else who doesn't join our live, I told them, hey, you're gonna have to check the pod tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're like, hey man, tell us what you think about this. No, I can't give it away now. Come on. I mean, how do you find out that a player got traded as a teammate?
Oh, dude, like you could come back from lunch and find out, like,
wow,
like a player be like, yeah, I just talked to my agent, I'm out of here. And like, it's cutthroat, man. It's the nature of the beast, though. That's what's tough about the business.
Well, position wise, and McDonald was already kind of speaking to this. He said he thinks that Dodson will keep the green dot on his helmet and call the plays, but move to weak side, and then Ernest, scared straight, will play. No, Ernest, scared stiff. What's the Halloween Ernest movie called?
I think those are such good movies too.
Anyway, Ernest will be in the middle linebacker role, but I mean, dude, this is the position you played here. Like, just guy traded mid-season. I mean, getting used to each other. We talked about communication a bunch, which is something that you've even said, like, that just needs to be so clear and all of that. So,
but even though, Ernest has, and even the carryover might be the same from the Ravens days of Wilson and McDonald working together, you don't want to, there's going to be some nuances and things that are changed. And so you don't want to just give the green dot to the new guy. And we just want him to line up and kick ass. And that's what he does, man. And that's what he cares about. So I'm excited to see him and Dodson, and both of which are probably familiar with the Bills, as Dodson played there. And then the Titans just played the Bills a week or two ago. Right. So,
well, how about, that's what I was going to say next is, like, how about coming in midweek and you got Josh Allen on the weekend, but then they did just play him, which is so interesting.
He should know, well, not the game plan, but he should know the offense fairly well. Because, I mean, they had, like, a look at it. Yeah, Josh Allen had a day for himself, 323 and 2 touchdowns. Our boy Sal, whatever his last name is, going to tell us all about them in a few. But no disrespect, Sal. They didn't give me a briefing on your last name.
No, we're waiting for him to come in and do it himself. Keep going.
But, like we're saying, should be familiar with what and maybe he can even give us some insight as to what he just studied, the last couple weeks. But yeah, playing the same team back to back, I'm sure there's going to be some like guys he had beef with. I got to go back and watch that game because after you play a team, like you remember like certain, scuffles and shit talking, so to speak.
Interesting.
And you're like, all right. So I'm going to be watching if there's any personal battles out there.
Oh, it's almost like in baseball. Like they might have brushed your guy back the last time they were in town, but here they come back around. We'll have to be watching, see what happens. It's very, very interesting with this whole trade thing and everything. How about DK and his injury? Checking in on that. He did not practice, but they said it's a grade 1 MCL sprain. How concerned are you about that?
It depends on if he's going to be wearing the Donjoy or not. Because I don't. You never heard of a Donjoy?
I mean, no. It sounds like an adult film actor, though. Starring Don Joy.
Oh man.
Is that a lineman from the 70s? What is that?
Actually, linemen wear these. They're a knee brace. Or apparatus of sorts, and it's to help with stability. And so quarterbacks tend to wear them, on their plant leg, but when they go to throw, just to make sure no one falls into their knee. But yeah, if he's wearing that thing, even as fast as he is, I'm not overly concerned. I just want to see him out there playing, and so that because he doesn't need any reps in terms of practice. We just need him healthy, and so
yeah. Line up and go kick ass, like you said before.
That's what he does, man. What he does.
Which of which movie of Don Joy's was your favorite? Because The Apparatus that's a good one. You seen that one? That was an action one. Fant and Lucas are back practicing. They put Forsyth on the IR. I don't know about their playing status, but they're at least back out there practicing, which is a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. Which we've needed them to get back for some time now. Shout out to Jarrell for holding it down last week in his first start. Forsyth, heart goes out to him, but this could speak to what some of the troubles we've seen. What everybody's been pointing out week in and week out. I mean, the guy's been battling through injury if he just went on IR. So give him some grace there and just say thank you for toughing it out. Because who knows what he's dealing with, but that, playing with injury is not fun. I'll tell you that much.
How many of you guys bought a Mike Jarrell jersey? Tell me. At least one person. Come on. Somebody had to get one.
Yeah, I know you did.
So. That's in the mail right now. Yeah. Did anyone get one? Let us know in the chat. He might be going again this week, though. I don't know if they're going to be ready to go right away.
There's the window opens up for them to come back. So it's like, I think 21 days to make a decision. I wouldn't expect them to force either out there right away. They're not in shape. I mean, playing shape, they're definitely in shape. But to go 60, 70 plays, that's a lot different.
Yeah. So, well, yeah. You know what? I forgot this earlier. It was the thing with the trade. The last thing about that was an extension. Do you see this as like a sign and extend type of a situation?
I see this as we've got 9-10 games left to figure that out. Yeah. I don't think anything's, imminent and got to be, signed, but Ernest has expressed that he would like a long-term deal, and it didn't happen with the Rams, didn't happen Tennessee. Third time's a charm is what I say.
If you want to go see Ernest, is there another Ernest? Let me think.
Ernest Saves Christmas.
There you go. If you want to go see Ernest Saves Christmas this weekend, you can do that with epicseats.com, whether you're buying seats or you're selling seats. And remember, if you're selling seats, make sure it's to the right fans. Okay.
Yeah.
Do it with epicseats.com. They're the best in the biz. Epicseats.com. EPICSEATS.com. Let's get to our guest, Sal from Believe, spelled our way, BLEAV in Bills. What's up, Sal? And can you say your last name for us so that we don't ruin it?
Yeah, Mosi Tututupa.
Holy shit.
I'm coming, man. I'm coming for you.
All
Now,
right.
it's Sal Maiorana. And I got to tell you, guys, I am so old. I covered his father when he played for the Patriots. I've been on the Bills beat since the mid 80s, if you can believe it. And I saw his father play. I covered games that he played for the Patriots. So I've been around a while. So it's good to be with you, Lofa.
Well, you're the perfect guest to have, Sal. And producer Katie can back me up on this. Before we came on the air, I pretty much nailed the pronunciation. I just didn't have the confidence in it.
Yep.
She'll vouch for me. Lofa.
Well, by covered, I didn't know if you played linebacker for the Bills and actually physically had to cover my dad. But
no, I sat up in the press box and watched him, barrel through Bills defenders as a rusher and a blocker. He was a hell of a player. So, but I had to share that because that's how old I am.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Never gets old hearing stories of him. He passed away in 2010, and so anytime someone remembers the name, even is it's an honor to me. So I appreciate you bringing that up, brother.
No problem.
Hey, Sal, the Bills, they're rolling into Seattle here this weekend. We just got a new linebacker that everyone's excited to see out there. He just played Josh Allen, as Lofa pointed out, a few weeks ago. I mean,
last week.
Or 2 days ago, yeah.
Last week. I mean, you guys have the trade there. You picked up some wide receivers. I mean, talk to us about these Bills, man. Like, how good are they, and how worried, if not, nervous, should we be as Seahawk fans?
No, look, the Bills have been a terrific team, as you guys know, for the last 4 years. Josh Allen, ever since he ascended to superstar status, no matter what game they play, they have a chance to win. Now, this season, they've had a little bit of difficulty on offense. They moved on from Stephon Diggs, and a lot of people didn't think it was going to be a big deal, but it sort of was for the first month of the season. They just don't have receivers on this team that are very good at separating, and it's been a problem. So that's why they went and made the move to get Amari Cooper, because that's the kind of player that can do that. He can sit in the zone, he can beat man coverage, and he's the kind of guy that kind of was lacking in this Bills passing offense. And we saw it last week. Tennessee, they started off horribly. The first half was kind of a joke, but man, in the second half, they just started humming. And I think Allen finished with 323. And that's the passing game that we've come to expect in Buffalo. And I'm not going to say it was all because of Cooper, because he only played 19 snaps, but he is definitely going to be a difference maker moving forward because he pulls coverage away from these other guys. So that's what the Cooper trade has done for the Bills. And now you guys are going to get him with 1 more week of practice and 1 more week in the playbook.
Well, yeah, Josh Allen threw for a lot of yards, but he still doesn't have as many as Geno Smith this season.
No, he does not.
You guys got to deal with our offense, right, Lofa?
Yeah, absolutely. And before we go to our offense, let's stick with their offense. I want to know about this running game. Does he have any help on the ground? Because, you got the receivers, Coleman, right, the rookie. Shakur, I think that's an underrated guy that doesn't get enough targets. But what about the run game?
Yeah, you're right about Shakir. He's a terrific player, and he's another one that I think is going to benefit from having Amari Cooper. Now he can go into the slot, which is where he does his best work, while Cooper goes to the outside. So you're right about Shakir. I'm glad you noticed him, because when he's healthy, he's been battling a little bit of an injury, but he's been a very good player. But as for the running game, James Cook missed the Jets game 2 weeks ago, came back last week, and he had a tough time. He has a toe injury. I don't know what exactly it is, but it was a toe. And they played a stout Titans front. That team's got some size in the middle. The Bills had a little bit of trouble running the ball. So I would think that Cook should get back on the beam again this week. And then they mix in Ray Davis, who's a rookie, a 4th-round pick. When Cook missed the Jets game, Davis stepped up and had a great game, 97 yards. He's a tough runner. He's from out there in California. He's got an amazing backstory. So if they get those two guys, as a 1-2 punch, which they really didn't have the first 4 or 5 weeks, if that starts happening, the Bills' running game can be a problem. And then when you offset that with Josh Allen, then this offense can definitely start hitting its stride.
Well, then I guess we can go over to Geno Smith, who Josh Allen's almost as good as. So how scared are you about him and what he's been doing?
Yeah, Gino's been he's been great ever since he beat out Drew Lock in 22, right, to get that job, and he's been on a heater, man. He's going to be in his 3rd Pro Bowl this year in a row. So I've been very impressed. Look, I saw again because I'm old. I saw him when in his Jets days, his first 2 years with the Jets. He didn't have much success against the Bills, and that wasn't even good Buffalo teams back then. So I saw him at the start, was not impressed. But since he's been in Seattle, no doubt he's been a terrific player. I love the way he just drops back and fires it downfield. It doesn't seem like there's any hesitation with Gino. He's not captain check down. He goes down the field. He's got great targets, as we know, with those 3 guys you've got up there. Not sure what you guys are saying about Metcalf at this point, but we all know how dangerous he is. And Gino just looks like he's the perfect fit for that offense. So you're absolutely right. The Bills defense, we know they're going to have a handful come Sunday afternoon.
Well, and then you add in Kenneth Walker, who, I mean, when healthy, top 5 running back in the league, at least, if not higher. So, I mean, if he can crank it up, how's the run defense for you guys?
Yeah, that's something that you guys will definitely have a chance to exploit. The Bills are going to play nickel defense all day long. They may even play some dime defense, but you are never going to see the Bills in 3 linebackers. So there's very often light boxes up front. That's just how the Bills play. They almost have the attitude because, it is a passing league, and they have chosen to be really good against the pass. And they've been that way under Sean McDermott really for all 8 years now. But they're going to give you light boxes. And if your offensive lineman can get to that second level, there will be opportunities for Kenneth Walker to make some big plays. The Bills are I think they were last in the league going into last week in yards per rush allowed. So you will be able to run the ball if you stay patient with it.
Yeah. Is there any leftover beef with Ernest in any way? Was there any kind of things during the game that Lofa was saying, there could be something,
did you see him fight anybody last week? I'm hoping he brings a little personal vendetta on top of being traded over to us to play you guys.
I didn't see any fighting, but look, you're right. I mean, him playing the Bills back-to-back weeks, you played, I mean, if you saw a team back-to-back weeks, you know there's going to be carryover. So I'm sure there was some shit that was going down on the field that we don't know about. So him getting a second crack at the Bills, especially after the Bills just boat raced them for 34 straight points. Yeah, Ernest Jones will have something to prove this week for sure.
That's a good point. Right there, you said carryover is, he probably has some of your checks. So, good luck because we know all your audibles now. But but his new teammate next to him, Dodson, can you speak about him and his time in Buffalo and what you saw out of him? Because we love him up here.
Yeah, another guy that's going to have all the knowledge there is about the Bills defense. When he was here, he was a backup until Matt Milano got hurt last season. He was strictly a backup. And when he was on the field in this defense, I'll be honest, he was a liability against the pass. He is a good run defender. When on first and second down, when he was out there, he was generally able to hold it up without a problem. But they had to pull him off the field on third downs and in obvious passing situations. So I don't know what's happening up in Seattle right now, but that was the MO in Buffalo. And it was a tendency for the Bills. I mean, the opposing offense would know if he went off the field, what the Bills defense is going to be. So that's what we saw up here. It was a good move for him to get away because, Milano was supposed to be back with Terrell Bernard. He got hurt again. So T-Dot maybe would have had a chance to play this year again. But I think it was a good move for him to move on and go to Seattle because it looks like he has fit in pretty well up there.
Yeah, I know McDonald and the guys love him. He's become like one of our leaders, just out there, the energy he carries and the attitude he plays with. But he actually looks great in coverage, and he just needs to catch the ball now. Like a lot of pass breakups, just need to get a couple more jugs drills in and catch those balls because he's putting himself in position in coverage, and it's good to see.
That is good to see because, like I said, he did not do that here. It was a problem here in Buffalo.
Interesting.
How do Bills Mafia look back on the trade that we made for Beast Mode, which is quite possibly the greatest trade in Seahawks history?
Yeah. Look, Marshawn, when he was here, he was a character. He wasn't the character that he became, for sure. But he was a good player for the Bills. And you make moves in this league. You guys know. I mean, sometimes it just doesn't work out in a place. I think the Bills were at a point where they needed to make the move. They weren't going anywhere with Marshawn in the backfield. So they make the trade. And clearly he benefited because he went on to have, how many great seasons in Seattle, won a Super Bowl there. So yeah, great trade for you. And yeah, Bills fans obviously wish he would have done that in Buffalo, but just didn't quite work out.
I got a question about Bills right now. Not just how are you guys feeling? Is the window still open for you guys?
Yeah, I think it is. There was some talk, early in the year, again, when Stephon Diggs left, and they moved on for some other big players. I mean, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer left. They moved on from Mitch Morse, who was their center for 5 years. There was definitely some, salary cap gymnastics that they had to go through. That's what happens when you're paying your quarterback $245 million. These are the things that start happening when you're doing that. So this was supposed to be a year where the Bills look at the AFC East and realize they can still win that division, even if they're taking a step back or a proverbial step back. The division's not really great. So they still want to compete. They still think they can go to the playoffs. But I think Bills fans have resigned themselves to this might not be our best opportunity to win a Super Bowl. The Bills had that opportunity for 2 or 3 years in a row. Maybe this is a step back, but getting Diggs off the roster clears humongous cap space in 2025. Same thing with Morris, Poyer, all those guys that left. They're going to be able to reset the cap next year, and I think they're going to be able to go out and make some moves that maybe reopens that window a little bigger. But I would not say, Lofa, that it's closed right now. I think they still believe in the AFC this year, outside of the Chiefs and Ravens, who look like wagons. Everybody else is in play here. So I think they still have a chance. They think they still have a chance.
And no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, correct?
Ask Chris Berman, he'll tell you.
This game, every time I think about this game, it feels like a prime time matchup to me for some reason. I mean, well, not for some reason, because both these teams are awesome and look at all the players on them. But somehow I can't believe this is like a 1 p.m. Sunday game.
Yeah, well, it's 4 p.m. for us over here, so.
Right. Well, that's true. Yeah, good point. What we do a score prediction here for Simply Seattle, our good sponsor here, Simply Seattle. Go to simplyseattle.com for all of your sports apparel needs. They're an awesome company. They've got all the Seahawks stuff. Lofa's rocking some Simply Seattle right there. They're also the world's largest Seattle Supersonics retailer. Tons of Sonics gear over there. Go to simplyseattle.com and check them out. Use our promo code, all caps, all day, 15 for 15% off. They also sponsor our score prediction challenge, where you guess the score on the social media post, and the gift card that you could win is up to $175 because it adds $25 every time someone doesn't nail it. All that being said, Sal, what's going to be the score at the end of the game?
I've been going back and forth all week because I can see very clear paths for the Seahawks to win. I can also see a few paths for the Bills to win. I'm going to trust the Bills and Josh Allen, having gotten back on track in the second half last week against Tennessee. I think the Bills can go in there and win the game. I think we're going to see points because I think both of these offenses, especially the passing games, can light it up. I'm going to go 30-24 Bills, but could very easily convinced if you want to talk me into a Seahawks win, because it's that kind of game where I think either side, if they get hot, can definitely win it.
You want to talk him into a Seahawks win?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to take that clear path you were talking about for the Hawks. Yeah, I think this is a high-scoring affair. Both these offenses, and then also the issues the defenses have been having. Like, I could very easily see Allen having 100 yards on the ground to go with his 200 or 300 in the air. But so I'm going to take the Hawks, though, of course, and we're going to go 31-29.
Ooh. All right. I'm going to go high scoring as well, but I think it gets higher scoring because it goes to overtime.
Oh, wow.
Wouldn't that be fun?
The plot
extra
twist.
Football on Sunday, a little free overtime football for everybody. So give me the Seahawks, though. Give me the Seahawks 37, Bills 35.
Wow.
Weird score. I like it. Yeah,
Oh,
points.
So what are they going to win, by a safety in overtime? Is that what you're calling here?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening here?
Okay, I got to make it 34.
Stay with the safety. Stay with your watch it be 37-35 by a safety. That would be
if that
hilarious.
happen, we got to
Be some
pull the
Simpson
stakes
shit.
back up. That'd be crazy. You guys can find Sal on Believe in Seahawks. Believe spelled our way. Believe in Bills, of course. BLEAV in Bills. Sal Maiorana.
You got it.
The mayor.
You nailed it. The mayor, exactly.
Thanks for being here, Sal. Thanks for your time.
We got you, Lofa. We got you tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we'll rehash this again tomorrow.
Oh, I'm going to be talking mad shit on that one.
You can talk all the shit you want. We love it.
Appreciate you, brother. See you tomorrow.
All right, man. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, what's this thing you sent me about Crosby and Mayo? What? Fill me in on this thing. What's going on here?
Well, let's do our Delta look around the league, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, go with the throw, everybody. You can earn 1 mile for Seahawks passing yards this season. Every yard is a mile with Delta 12 status. You're signed up for 12 status, right, Lofa?
For years, man.
Just racking up those miles, dude. It's valid for all Washington residents. Well, I cannot read today. I don't know what is going on? I'm just like skipping lines and just
words always gave me trouble too.
Can I tell you? I'll level with the audience. You know what's bugging the shit out of me is that I have these blinds shut, but do you see if I move forward or back these like little
brother? I thought you installed a disco ball.
Dude, it's driving me crazy and I can't figure out where to sit. I'm like, should I lean forward? Should I lean back? Anyway, I'm all distracted. If you're a Washington resident, sign up for 12 status. It's 12status.com. Like I said, you get a mile for every yard the Seahawks throw for. You must be 18 years or older to enter. So looking around the league, man, you sent me this article where Max Crosby is talking smack here, right? With Mayo. What's going on?
Not with Mayo. It's more about what he said. So for those that don't know, the Patriots got off to a rough start. I think they're 1-5. And last game, I actually watched it. It was the 6 a.m. kickoff in London against the Jags. And, yeah, they gave up a lot of yards on the ground, probably 150, 160. And, as a former middle linebacker, I understand where he's coming from in terms of saying that. But what have I always told you, Brett? I go, there's two S words.
A lot of things.
What have I told you about the S words? There's 2 S words you don't call a man.
Oh, skinny
and soft. Yes, those are fighting words. And what did Max write? He goes, if someone says that to you, those are fighting words. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think anybody could take Mayo in that locker room. This is like an old school savage that, you just turn on the tape and you're going to see what he means about playing physical downhill football. But just, and a lot of other people, I think even Belichick came out and had some words about, he's like, you don't want to do that. But a lot of coaches didn't play and command that kind of respect from their players. So strategically, I'm sure he knows how to make this thing work and just ask more of his players. But yeah, just like Max said, I always said those are fighting words, right? If you say it to another man.
You've said that for a long time. So, yeah. How about some other trades? The NFL is almost like the NBA or something now. Like, remember this was kind of last year, all these in-season trades, but Hopkins to the Chiefs.
I just saw that. Didn't that happen like this morning or something? That's crazy.
It was rumored to be happening, I think, yesterday or yesterday afternoon, but looks like it's getting done.
That's crazy because, when he doesn't usually practice, but he shows up every Sunday, and especially in prime time. I feel like that chemistry is going to be very easy to, get started and keep, and because they've had a lot of injuries over there. So, the rich get richer in terms of the Chiefs adding more players that can just plug in and play.
Does Hopkins still have it?
Oh, yeah. Just watch the tape, man. Like
Deshaun Watson, Achilles injury, which means we get a lot of Jameis Winston and a lot of Jameis Winston sound bites.
Yeah, I never wish injury upon anybody, but anytime we can get the GOAT, Jameis Winston, I'm ready for the pregame interviews. I'm ready for the pep talks, the hype videos, all of it. And then I hope he plays well. So Winston, I got a lot of shit back in the day for, being on the Winston and the Mayfield bandwagon. I was like, hey, dude, I just believe in these kids from the story. Winston won a national championship. He had a lot of talent around him, Dalvin Cook, a bunch of guys. But, and then Mayfield from walk-on, transfer, Heisman, I'm a fan of these guys. And especially Jameis, just his personality, right? Like the dude is a walking sitcom. And I don't even think he means to be.
That's why I think it works.
He's so genuine.
Yeah.
And I need his training videos to come back. Jameis.
After Marshawn left, I mean, Jameis might be one of the best sound bites in the league. It's always entertaining. And whether you agree with it, disagree with it, agree with him, disagree with him, it doesn't even matter. It's entertainment, pure entertainment. How about this one? Here's a weird one. The Cowboys kicker missed practice because of jury duty.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, well, you can ask Michael Dickson when he comes on how much the kickers actually do. He's probably doing more in jury duty than he is, in practice. But yeah, so he might even they said he could miss the game too, right? If it goes.
Oh, come on. You got to file for an extension. Hey, I'm a football player. It's football season.
You only get 3 extensions. You got to go.
All right. I don't know.
Yeah, I got a jury duty coming up.
Me too.
The Niners, man. You guys, this is our quick whip around the league, okay? I'm trying to go fast.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Yep.
The Niners, Brandon Ayuk out for the season. Debo has pneumonia.
Yep. And Kittle has an injury too. I think they're down to Pearsall, and Juwan Jennings, and he's banged up too. So Pearsall, the first round rookie, I think, who got shot in the preseason.
Yeah,
like he got held up and shot.
Right.
So man, and then McCaffrey's not back until at least another week or two. I know that hurts your fantasy team. Partner, sorry.
My fantasy season is over, bro. I'm like 0-6, whatever it is now. How many weeks we've 0-7?
I'm 5-2. I've adjusted to the times, man. I lost Olave. I lost Jordan Love for 2 weeks.
Dude, no, but I don't have time to work the wires like that. I'm over here making other moves, man. How about Bryce Young back to starting after Andy Dalton got in a car accident?
No, man.
I
didn't know that. Now. Yeah.
I don't know too much about it. All I have is the headline.
Players getting hurt, not even on the field, in traffic, man. So I hope Dalton's okay. Always good to see a veteran, get the chance again. But then now Bryce Young, it's only been a couple weeks, maybe a month tops that he's been sitting there and just kind of taking it in and learning from Dalton. So I hope he has a good showing, man. I really do.
Chris Godwin, just gnarly injury on Monday Night Football. But I mean, the injury's just
and Mike Evans too.
Yikes. The thing about the Godwin one, though, the reason I wanted to bring it up is because there is a cool piece of video where he's on the cart, but he looks at the trainer immediately and he says, you can read his lips. He just goes back to work. And to have that mentality in that moment, which I know a lot of you guys do. And that's why, we marvel at what pro athletes are able to do. But I don't know, it's just a horrible moment for him, but then cool moment to just know that, he's going to persevere like that. And who couldn't root for a guy like that?
It's a moment that I hope all kids are paying attention to because it's unfortunate. And he could have, that was the quickest turnaround of being in the moment. Okay, I snapped my ankle. There's something significantly wrong with my leg. And he looked at the trainer and he said, back to work. And the trainer, because he's air casted, looks at him. He's like, back to work. And then so he goes, yep, back to work. And that is a moment I hope that gets more airtime and shown, because it's not just what happens. How do you react? How do you overcome the adversity? And he'll be back.
What's the work that he's talking about, though? Talk to us about treatment a little bit, or that rehab, or because we always hear players say, man, so much work to get back. But what exactly does that entail?
Everything. I mean, just from a mental aspect, I know he'll be back faster than anybody that's had that injury, because everybody else, you see the towel over the head, the eyes down, possibly praying just for the best possible outcome. His mind went straight to, all right, shit happened, back to work. Like, and that's the message I want these kids to take. And like, that's the attitude you have to have, even play in and play out. But specifically what he's talking to back to work is he's going to get a diagnosis. Like, hey, this is the procedure we're going to do. And, you have to just get back to a positive mindset of like, okay, what's the timetable? And then you get competitive and you let that competitive nature take over and you say, all right, they say 6 months, I'll be back in 4, right?
Well, I'm kind of also just asking though. I think a lot of fans haven't had an injury like that, and especially playing sports. And just sort of is it physical therapy? Is it like the muscles have to atrophy, of course, if you can't use them for very long. So like the work of coming back from that, like it's not just how do I get myself to a place where I can get back out there and run around and catch passes. Like in the NFL, the process of getting a player back to playing shape. I mean, it's literally it's work. It's so interesting to think about it like that. Because if I hurt myself, playing some pickup hoops, I would just lay on the couch for a while, elevate it. It doesn't feel like much work. You know what I'm trying to say? But for athletes, I mean, it is work. That's the job, right?
Your body and your health is everything. And then, another part you hit on, mental health is, the confidence aspect of, am I going to be as good as I was? Because every year there's bigger, faster, stronger, and younger, healthier, right? So that probably goes through. It never entered my mind. I always felt like, hey, as long as I'm even 80 or 90% of what I, can be, I'll be all right. Like that's how I always thought of it. And just by looking at how he compartmentalized that moment, it was one of the strongest showings I've ever seen of mental fortitude and just like, I got this.
When players are injured and they're coming into the facility and they're getting treatment, you always hear that, like, I'm coming in to get treatment. Does that just mean physical therapy of like a bunch of different kinds?
Yeah, you have a whole routine and practice. Like you have a whole sheet that you go through. Like you get there before everybody because you don't want to cut into the time that the trainers who they work their asses off. You don't want to cut into the time they have with the guys that are actually playing, right? Like, and it's not that you're an afterthought, but it's like, well, literally we're all investments. And like, these are the ones that are active right now. They're going. So we have to make sure that they get the attention and care that they need to be on the field and be at their best. And you have to take a back seat in terms of, okay, these are my times that I can get in, get my treatment done. All the recovery aspects of it, and then I always found time to go to the film room with the guys. I'm like, all right, well, just when they, slotted, I was like, well, I can't do that because we're in defensive meetings or linebacker meetings. I want to be there with my linebackers to at least help them prepare for the next year. I got my pec torn. I was back watching film with Hawthorne and the boys a week. As soon as they let me go home, they're like, you have to stay here for a week. But I had gotten film sent to me in Pensacola and I had broken it down and I just told him several things to look for in terms of the matchups that he was going to have. I think they were playing either the Cowboys or the Texans, probably the Cowboys. And me and him were just texting back and forth. I was like, hey, these are the calls. This is just to try to help any way you can. And you still have an obligation and commitment to the team. And so I'm trying to be there as a leader for them as much as I could.
Going above and beyond, man. I mean, if I tore my pec off, I'd be at home covered in ice watching Don Joy all day.
You must be ambidextrous then.
Oh yeah, I guess it depends on which side, huh? Oh. Hey, that's the look around the league, everybody. Thanks for being here. You know what we got to do? We got to welcome our guest, Michael Dickson, and get into all things punting and all things Seahawks with him. Sounds good?
And all things Australia, mate.
Let's do it. Putting on his headphones. Hello, Michael.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, man. Thanks for your time. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, of course.
One of the longest tenured Seahawks at this point, Lofa. It's almost hard to believe, huh? Where's the time gone?
Does it feel that long, Michael?
No, I don't know. I've had a few people tell me that. It's crazy. I think is Locke the only one older than me now on the team.
Well,
I think probably.
Yeah, I think Gino's older, but I don't think he's.
Oh no, there's a few guys that are older, but
yeah.
being on the team, I think Locke's the only one now, which is insane.
It's crazy.
Is
Right?
there a generational divide on the team? Do you find yourself making references that these young kids don't get?
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like we educate them on like the moments that they missed out on, like
there you go.
our long snapper Stoley. I mean, he was here 1 year with Pete, and we had Balor, and we'd always, talk about old stories and stuff. So, yeah, we try and educate on the old stuff.
Well, Balor was there before even Lofa was there, wasn't he? I mean, he's old.
Since the inception, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, Balor's been around for a while. He's killing it at Washington this year.
I guess a better question would be, are the young kids saying stuff that you don't understand? Because that's what happens to me with our interns.
No. I mean, you're on social media, so like you don't that's where slang and trends come from. So like I'd say I'm tapped in.
What about the culture, like the Australian? Like, have you taught them your ways? Has that become a thing?
No, I just find myself not saying too much Aussie stuff anymore. Or like I find myself when I go home, like all the slang comes back, but coming here, it's like you have to explain it too many times, and sometimes it's just easier just not having it in the vocab. But we got an Aussie strength coach, so me and him can just kind of kick it.
If you just hear an oi around the facility, they know who's calling for each other. Oh, hey.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're sick of explaining Vegemite, I'm sure.
Yeah, not too many people know about Vegemite, to be honest.
I don't.
But yeah, I mean, every time someone brings it up, I'm like, I feel like you would like it if it was prepared correctly on buttery toast and then just a thin spread, and you're good.
It's just the smell.
I think it's just the accent that makes me want to try Vegemite. As I said, Vegemite.
Yeah,
trying to do that.
Vegemite.
Trying to do the accent, mate.
Yeah, we'll get you some. Actually, we should get a video of Lofa trying that. Michael, take us back down under, though, actually, because I want to get your story here, man. Take us back to a young Michael Dickson, and how did you find your way to football and punting and the NFL in the first place?
So I played Aussie rules for 10 years. It's an Australian-only sport. And you basically, the way you move the ball and score is by essentially like running it, hand passing it to each other, and punting it to each other. And I had a really big kick in that sport. So, people would mention, you should try and go to the NFL and play in the NFL, because there'd been a few Aussie guys that had done it before. So growing up, it was always in the back of my mind as like a potential, pipe dream. But once I saw that I probably wasn't going to go be a professional Aussie rules player, I was like, let's just give it a shot. Let's see what we can do. And my stepdad found a article online talking about a guy that signed up at Pro Kick Australia and then got a scholarship to LSU. And then I found out that colleges had, potential of 100,000 people in the stands. And I was like, yeah, let's give it a shot. So tried out with him, and he said that I had, great potential to play college football. And I was like, if, worst case, I get a free degree out of it. So, I kind of went all in and was in training with him for about 3 or 4 months, and then flew out to Texas and was playing there, and kind of got thrown in the deep end and played my freshman year, and wasn't the best, wasn't terrible, but that next off season kind of figured it all out, and then played 2 more seasons at Texas, and then got drafted to Seattle. It all happened super quick.
Talk about like an influential coach along the way, or someone who just kind of inspired you along the way, or even at Texas when you figured it out. Was there a particular coach?
Not really, to be honest. I kind of just I was pretty determined about I would always tell myself, like, you've flown and moved across the other side of the world. Like, don't waste this opportunity. You got the talent, you got the mindset. and let's just like put some work in and let's see how far we can take it.
And literally, how far from Australia to Texas? Like, what was that, cultural change like? Because, I've been to Texas a couple times. It's pretty fun, but how'd that compare when you moved over there?
Yeah, I mean, it was completely different. I was kind of just, full on with school, and football. So I didn't really see much. And I also, when I look back, I'm like, I don't feel like I remember too much from that freshman year. It was just such a blur. It just so much was, I feel like I was just trying to stay afloat. I was really dedicated to my schooling as well. So I'd be studying, and then in the, hour or two where the time zones matched up, I'd be FaceTiming family and friends and just, trying to figure it all out. But it was different for sure. I mean, college football is just nothing like, there's nothing like that in Australia. So
it took you a whole year for the ball to get used to the ball spinning the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Wait, I need to know. I need you to clear this up. Is this real? I don't know if my co-host and my producer are messing with me about the water. Is that Brett?
I think it's real. I don't pay close enough attention, but I'm pretty sure I think there's like some scientific explanation for it. Yeah, I think it's real.
Yeah, it's not the big difference. It's nothing across, and the toilet water spins the other way. That's all you need to know when you go down there. Right? It's just
I'm going on the internet and finding out. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, ask ChatGPT.
Hey, Michael, what goes into the perfect punt, man? I mean, I'd said this before you came on. You are the greatest punter in the NFL right now. We're so lucky to have you. You're a weapon. I mean, almost on defense, basically. But in your mind, like, what goes into it, and why are you so good at it?
It's a lot of it's like mindset, and muscle memory, and just like being disciplined with your form. And I don't know. I mean, there's so much that goes into it, way more than you probably think. Just like with your preparation and everything. It's probably more similar to an Olympic like track and field event than like football almost. It's more like javelin or shot put or something if you really view it like that. Yeah, I mean, it's all about like priming your body and getting your hand-eye coordination feeling right, and feeling loose in the right areas, and having a few cues that you stick to when it comes to form, but not overcomplicating it. And if you feel yourself in a rut, there's you don't want to like try and figure it all out at once. Some days you just like write it off as a bad day. Like there's nothing you can do about it. It's just done. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
Are there different kinds of punts, kind of similar to how a major league pitcher might have a few different pitches?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of different punts.
Yeah.
Different trajectories, all just based on what returner you're facing, game situations, if you need the ball back. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of different.
Do you got the knuckleball? Do you got that thing down?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got the knuckleball. I got the banana, and then I got like the
banana,
like inverse banana, where it like flies the other way.
What's the banana?
That's not a boomerang?
We should call it boomerang. Yeah, thank you, Katie.
Gotta make it your Americans
would
probably call it a boomerang, but in Australia, it's basically in Aussie rules. If you've got like a tight shot on goal, if it's like if you're not in front of the goals, you're to the side, and you need to put it out in front and get it to curl in, you would hit a banana punt, and it would go from left and then curve right. And then if you're in the other pocket, it would be called a snap, and you hit it and it would curl from the right to the left.
Sounds like my golf swing.
Wait, what are some other names for punts?
Boom, which is just like a misdirection punt where I try and keep it out of the returner's hands. Just different spirals, different pooch. I don't have names for all of them, but yeah, there's a few different ones.
It's okay. We'll think of some names. We're pretty good with that stuff.
We'll send you a list after the show.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, did you hear about the kicker in Dallas who might even have to miss the game because of jury duty?
No.
Oh.
What happened?
I don't know. Some kicker in Dallas. And Lofa brought it up. He said kickers. What were you saying, Lofa, about kickers? What were you saying?
Well, I was saying schedule-wise, they might actually have to work harder in jury duty than, deliberating and going back and forth than practice. But, you could tell us what is the typical practice like?
I mean, depends what kickers you've been around, but we'll go out to practice 40 minutes early, and we're busy most of the practice. Yeah.
Mike, I'm just joking, buddy. I'm just joking.
But I'm sure there's other kickers that don't do too much.
Hey, I want to.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, we got to get on to our list of 12 questions here and wrap it all up because we're quickly running out of time. So rapid fire, 12 questions, 2 minutes on the clock. Ready, Michael?
Yeah, let's do it.
Question number 1. Do you collect anything?
Hats, and I would like to collect watches someday.
You put ketchup on a hot dog?
Yeah.
Do aliens exist?
Yeah.
Number 4, Pearl Jam or Nirvana?
Nirvana.
Number 5, can you count to 10 in a random order?
No.
Good answer.
Number 6, what's your guilty pleasure snack?
Cookies, ice cream, and M&Ms.
Number 7, beach house or mountain cabin?
Beach house.
How many tattoos?
1 sleeve, and then I guess 4 if you want to count a sleeve as 1 tattoo.
Number 9, pancakes, waffles, or French toast?
I don't love any of them, but I would probably say pancakes.
What's the last regular job you had?
Working at a car rental where I'd wash cars.
Number 11, what other sports do you play? Other than Australian rules, we already know that.
Tennis in the off season. I'll play a bit of tennis.
And question number 12, what's your favorite fruit?
Mango.
Michael Dickson,
And
the greatest punter in the NFL.
And congrats.
Everybody.
I think you're the first current player that actually had a job previous to the NFL. So you broke a record there.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Along with your other records. Okay, so what we do, we break it down, Mike. So we put our hands in the middle, right? And then you're going to have to give us the special teams breakdown. What do you guys on 3? What do you guys say?
Teams on 3. 1, 2, 3. Teams.
Teams.
Thanks.